What's up, guys? Armando Science here, and I wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk to you guys about something that is kind of personal to me, and it really was responsible for two things in my life and in my business. First, it's responsible for holding me back, and this is the thing that really kept me from achieving what I needed to achieve sooner in my life and in my business. Ironically, this is the exact same thing that's responsible for helping me achieve everything that I've achieved so far in my business. Now, there's a countdown timer right now to 2019 because we're more than halfway through the year. It's July 23rd, and there's only 160 days left for 2019. And if you're like most people, you probably haven't achieved your goals that you set out to achieve at the beginning of the year. Whether those are financial goals, whether those are business goals, some of them might be personal goals, but really more than anything, business and financial goals for this year. And I'm going to share with you the reason why most people are stuck and most people can't achieve those goals, and most people never really do great things. And this was the same thing that was happening to me, and that is the fear of being judged. You see, over the past few years, I've been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of self-work in my business, in my life, in my practice, and even on myself. And I've completely transformed my business over the past few years to a more holistic approach. But with that came a lot of inner work, and I realized that the thing that has always held me back from achieving more things, even achieving things sooner, has always been the fear of being judged. It always came back to that. And when I realized that, it was like this aha moment. It was like this curtain just opened up, and I realized that right in front of me were all these possibilities and opportunities and milestones and breakthroughs and everything else, but the fear of being judged was so strong and so prevalent. And it's like that for most people, that they can never move past that. Now, 50% of it out of the gate is being self-aware and being aware that this fear is there, even though that's not how it appears to most people. It certainly didn't appear to me. The very first time that I was speaking to my mentor and we discovered this, he told me, hey, you've got to, what's holding you back is the fear of being judged. I thought, man, that's silly. I'm not afraid of what people think about me or people say or whatever. I mean, I can do it. That's not the problem. But as I was working through a lot of things, I discovered that at the root cause, at a much deeper level, that is exactly what was keeping me hostage. So I'm making this video so that it can help you guys, right? Because you might be in the same situation, not really understanding why you don't do the things that you need to do, that you know you need to do. You may be in a stage in your business where you're like, okay, damn, I've got all the pieces of the puzzle. I know that I've got to do this thing, but for some reason, I'm paralyzed and I cannot seem to move in that direction, right? There's always something that comes up. And the reason for that is the fear of being judged. You see, the fear of being judged does not show up as the fear of being judged. It shows up different for almost every single person in every single circumstance. Here's how it showed up for me. For me, for a very long time, I didn't put my content out there. Even though I've got so much knowledge inside my brain and so much real world experience from the corporate side. I've spent 10 plus years in business development. I've run a successful agency, and I've got all this information, and I never once shared it with people and put blog posts or videos or anything else out there. And one of the reasons for that was because I was waiting for the perfect video, right? I wanted the video to be edited perfectly. I wanted the video to have, all the YouTube end screens and the intros and all this stuff. And I spent a lot of time creating that perfect video. And when I actually had a video that I thought was perfect, I didn't put it out. So my mentor, these are one of the things that we worked with, and he asked me, well, why didn't you just put it out? I said, because it's not perfect. And he goes, well, so what? And I said, well, if I put something out there that's not perfect, people are just not going to think it's valid or credible. And that's when I had my big aha moment, when he said, it's not that the video needs to be perfect. That's not the reason why you're not putting it out there. It's not that you need to have end screens or intros or anything else, or it needs to be professionally edited. What you're actually telling me is that the reason you're not putting it out there is because you're afraid of what people are going to say about it. And it was just like a ton of bricks hit me on the head. Because I couldn't argue that. That was in fact what I was saying. I was afraid of people leaving maybe a negative comment on my video or saying, I don't like your content or whatever. And that was so powerful. That was such a pivotal moment in my business when I realized that I was actually given my power to complete strangers, and complete strangers on the internet, who were afraid of being judged themselves. I mean, people are going to judge you no matter what. So why not judge me for something that I love to do, for contributing something positive and maybe helping somebody make a difference in their life and in their business? It was such a incredible moment, and I realized most people are living their lives and running their businesses this way. And the fear of being judged shows up differently for people, and it may not be real obvious initially. For me, another thing that came up for me was I don't want to put my face on camera. I was trying to find out all these different methods and ways of creating video, creating my content without people actually seeing my face. And the reason for that was because, as you've probably seen from this video and some of my other videos that actually have my face and my voice on them, I was afraid of, I used to think my voice is too pitchy. My voice is it's too nasally. Maybe my accent's going to show up. I have this thing where I kind of, move my eyeballs up or side, left or right to the bottom of the screen or wherever, or just kind of slide the tilt that way. But that's part of me being a little bit nervous on camera. And I thought, if people see that, they're gonna look at me and they're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna judge me for this, or they're gonna think that this guy's not legit or whatever. And my mentor was like, well, has anybody told you that in person, in real life? Has any of your friends told you that your voice is too nasally, that your accent is so thick that they can't understand you, that your eyeballs move like this and that way? And I thought, no, nobody's ever told me that. And that's when he said, then that's the story you're telling yourself. It's the story you're telling yourself. And again, you're telling me that you're afraid of what other people are going to tell you this. And if nobody's told you this, what exactly are you afraid of? I was afraid of what people were going to say, what people were going to think. See, so initially the fear of being judged holds you so strong, and it's prevalent in your life, in every aspect of your life, and not just business. And like I said before, 50% of it is understanding and being self-aware that this fear exists, that this thing is there. But on the opposite end of that, right on the edge of that fear of being judged, once you open that curtain, great things happen. Opportunities, possibilities, business opportunities, joint ventures. Your business can literally go from flatline to rocket as soon as you understand this thing, and as soon as you can pass through it. Now, here's a little exercise that's going to help you guys, that helped me tremendously get over this. I mean, you're not really truly ever over it, because even to this day I find that fear kind of creeping up. Just the other day I was thinking to myself, well, I can't do this because I gotta build this landing page first. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Why? Because if I don't build it a certain way, then people are going to come to it and they're not going to buy. So what? Well, they're going to think it's amateurish. So what I'm actually saying is that I'm just afraid of what somebody else is going to think about my landing page, which is completely silly, right? I know this now, but I didn't know that then. So here's the thing that I did that really helped me. I took a journal, a notebook, and I divided a line through the middle. On one side, I put all my thoughts and feelings and obstacles and everything that showed up in my business, everything that was But, everything after the but. I got a prospect, but I don't have the time to do it. I know that I got to hire more people, but I didn't have the money to do it. I know that I got to create content, but I'm just not a great writer. I know that I have to do this, but. Or obstacles, right? Obstacles. I don't know how to do, I don't know how to build this. Anything techie. If I get on the phone with people, I'm not really sure how I would, react. All the things that would show up for me in different ways were either obstacles, hurdles, were either technical difficulties, pretty much anything. And then later on in that evening, after writing that one thing, I go back to the other side and I analyze that, and I would ask myself, what does that really mean? What does it really mean when I say, I don't have time to prospect because I've got, a full-time job, and I've got kids, and I've got, all this baseball practice and everything else. I would ask myself, well, is there somebody else? Could there be somebody else in the same situation as I am that has the exact same amount of time that still manages to prospect? Still manages to do that and grow their business? And the answer was almost always, yeah, there could be somebody. In fact, there might be somebody in a group that I know. The next question is, well, how are they doing it? Well, perhaps they have help. But perhaps then the answer for me was I needed to get help. Then I would make another excuse and say, well, it's because they know how to hire VAs and I don't know how to hire VAs. Well, perhaps you should learn how to hire VAs. And then another excuse, until eventually the real truth came out. I was afraid of what people were going to think at the core. If I send an email that was kind of spammy, or if the subject line would suck, or if I would send 100 emails and I would get no open rates and no replies back, what does that mean? Well, it means that people are going to think that I suck. Who exactly? Again, the fear of being judged. It's so strong. It's so strong in everything that we do that it can literally paralyze your business and your life. So we're here, okay? You understand this thing. It's very powerful, but it doesn't help you a whole lot until you start to put those things into action. So you start to realize that is the thing that's holding you back. So many pieces of my life ultimately ended up being the fear of being judged. And now that I know this, and I've been working towards getting rid of this, possibilities just open up. And because we're more than halfway through the year, I wanted you guys to know that this is the thing. This is the thing that's holding you back. So if you haven't sent those emails, if you haven't prospected enough, if you haven't made those cold calls, if you haven't followed up, if you haven't gone out there and gotten it, it's because of this. Because at the core, you're afraid of somebody judging you. Craziest thing is these people are going to judge you anyways. And it might be somebody close. You might say, I'm afraid of what my wife may think if this doesn't work out. Or I'm afraid of what my neighbors will think if I quit my job and I go full time. That's not the thing to do. Right? Because all our lives we've been conditioned to do what we're told. Work hard in school, get good grades, work really hard so that you can go to college, and then you work really hard in college. So then when you get out, you have the opportunity to work really hard for the rest of your life. How silly is that? How silly is that? And if we don't do it, we're afraid, right? If you don't go to college, what are people going to think if I didn't go to college? Oh my God. What if I didn't get so good grades in school? Oh my God, what are people going to think? Am I going to let my parents down? Am I going to let, our friends down? Are they going to think I'm a complete failure? Everything comes down to the fear of being judged. So, with that being said, I want to challenge you guys. With the little time that you've got left for the end of the year. Finish strong. What is it that you need to do that fear of being judged is stopping you from doing to achieve the next level? Break it down. Do you need to make $10,000 the next month, the next week? Do you need to land 2 or 3 clients? You need to go out and do that? How are you going to do that? Okay? Look at the end result and say, how do I get the end result. It's kind of like building a puzzle. You look at that box of the puzzle and you know what the end result's going to look like. And then you look at all the pieces again. Every time you question yourself on an excuse, on an obstacle, on anything that shows up that prevents you from getting to that goal, ask yourself, is this the fear of being judged? What is it really that's stopping me from doing the things that I know I'm supposed to be doing in my business? And more than likely, you'll find that it's this. We're afraid. We're human, so we're afraid of what others are going to say, what others are going to interpret our outcome to be. If I don't land this client, does that mean that I just suck and give up? No. Nobody's going to tell you you suck because you didn't land a client. Nobody but you. It's your own story. Rewrite your story. So, I hope this video was really helpful. And I do want to issue you guys a challenge to finish strong. Okay? Whether your method is cold emailing, whether your method is Facebook ads, whether your method is door knocking, cold calling, whether your method is, snail mail, whatever your method is, finish strong. Have a goal, focus on that goal. Don't worry about what anybody else is going to say because they're going to judge you anyways. They're going to judge you anyways. So they might as well judging you for getting that client, making that 10, 15,000, quitting your job, doing the things that you want to do. Because guess what? They're not doing it. And I found out that the people who judge you the worst are the people who don't do shit. And yet they want to judge you. So I hope this helps you guys. And, I had to get it out here. I had to get this message out of here because this is a great community. And a lot of people I see are being crippled by this. So countdown is right there on the screen. 160 days left. How are you going to use them? Are you going to continue to be afraid of what others are going to say? Or are you going to go after it because they're going to say those things anyways? Up to you.